Hello, this is Dr. Do again. This video is outside of medicine. Continue the book of Proverbs. I have finished the first part of chapter 19 and just remind the book of Proverbs are the wisdom of Solomon, and also start from chapter 10. It says the title was Proverbs of Solomon. So I'm going to continue to read the second part of chapter 19. A man's wisdom gives him patience. It is to his glory to overlook an offense. A king's rage is like the roar of a lion, but his favor is like dew on the grass. A foolish son is his father's ruin, and a quarrelsome wife is like a constant draping. Houses and wealth are inherited from parents, but a prudent life is from the Lord. Laziness brings on deep sleep, and the shiftless man goes hungry. He who obeys instruction guards his life, but he who is contemptuous of his ways will die. He who is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, but he will reward him for what he has done. Discipline your son, for in that there is a hope. Do not be a willing party to his death. A hot-tempered man must pay a penalty. If you rescue him, you will have to do it again. Listen to advice, accept instructions, and in the end you will be wise. Many are the plans in man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. What a man desires is unfailing love, better to be poor than a liar. The fear of the Lord leads life, then one rests content, untouched by trouble. The sluggard buries his hand in the dish. He will not even bring it back to his mouth. Flog a mocker, and a simple will learn prudence. Rebuke a discerning man, and he will gain knowledge. He who robs his father and drives out his mother is a son who brings shame and disgrace. Stop listening to instructions, my son, and you will astray from the words of knowledge. A corrupt witness mocks at justice, and the mouth of the wicked gulps down evil. Penalties are prepared for mockers, and beating for the backs of fools. So this is the chapter 19. I think first of all, before I go over again, I think this the wisdom or the Proverbs by Solomon. I think everything has to have the context. During the special situation, when he gave this lecture or when he talked about this. So it's just not isolated the words here. Have to really apply it and imagine what happened, in what circumstances he wrote this kind of proverbs, and what is in his heart, whom he's addressing to. So then if that's I think that's the wisdom of truth. You cannot just use this, and because sometimes if you look at one verse versus another verse, they kind of seem like not consistent, but because there's a context, you have to imagine what's the situation, what is the practical for these words. A man's wisdom gives him patience. It is to his glory to overlook an offense. I think this is a talk about the mind, patient and also calm and also navigable, wide opened. A king's rage is like a roar of a lion, but his favor is like a dew on the grass. This is saying the kings, if you make kings happy, then your life will be prosperous. If he's not happy, he's like a lion, meaning that the power, when you're around the power, make sure you do not, I think this is it's not in my capacity to explain. Sometimes we all have those kind of moments. So then just, I think, to be patient, be calm. That's the fundamental principle. A foolish son is a father's ruin, and a quarrelsome wife is like constant draping. Houses and the wealth are inherited from parents, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. So this is the saying that the inside of the family, the relationship in the family, what kind of sons, and what kind of wife is the ideal. But this is just theoretically. We are all human. We all have those moments, regardless how wise that person is. Still, the nature of human running start from the the real. I mean, so that's, or just take this as a guidance, just once in a while to remind myself, or to remind yourself, like be a not quarrelsome wife, and try to be prudent. But I think it's not up us. It's really up. They said it's from the Lord. Laziness brings on deep sleep, and the shiftless man goes hungry. So this talk about diligent. He who obeys instruction guards his life, but he who is contemptuous of his ways will die. So this is talk about obeys instruction, because later on there is a stop listening to instruction, my son, and you will astray from the words of knowledge. So this is, if you bring these two words together, what do you come up with, right? He who obeys instructions guards his life, but he who is contemptuous of his ways will die. And here it said, stop listening to instruction, my son, you will astray from the words of knowledge. So this is really, I think it's understanding, as it depends what kind of instruction, who is instructing you. He who is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward him for what he has done. So this mercy and kind. Discipline your son, for he in that there is a hope, but do not be a willing party to his death. So sometimes the discipline for children, it's good for their growth, but the discipline in a way of good way, with wisdom. A hot-tempered man must pay the penalty, and if you rescue him, you will have to do it again. So this hot-tempered man, I think it's just not one or two. A lot of people are hot-tempered. So this kind of person, they are probably talented, they're probably kind, but just the hot temper really a lot of time ruin their life. So as everybody, as us self, I think just remain calm and control the temper. Do not get too easily get hot and to do some random things. Listen to the other wise, accept instruction, and in the end you will be wise. So this is said, listening, accept instruction, and many other plans in man's heart, but it's Lord's purpose that prevail. You have plans, but whether it can be carried out or whether it can be successful, that's not on us, but on the Lord. What a man desires is unfailing love, better to be poor than a liar. So everybody desires unfailing love. The fear of Lord leads to life, but then one rest content untouched by trouble. So this is mean fear the Lord and be content, be satisfied. The sluggard buries his hand in the dish and will not even bring it back to his mouth. This means not diligent. Flock a marker, and the simple will learn prudence. Rebuke the discerning man, he will gain knowledge. This is called to instruct, to give advice to those worthy. So this we talk about the instruction 2 times. Previously talk about the instruction, listen to the instruction and give the instruction. And he who robs his father and drives out his mother is a son who brings shame and disgrace. So this talk about the inside of the family, the relationship. Now stop listening to instruction, my son, and you will astray from the words of knowledge. So this, I think there's a 2 verses talk about listen to the instruction, and 1 verse talk about give the instruction, and this said stop listening to the instruction. So if you isolate this individual one, you might get confused, but I think the practical, you have to understand this stop listening to the instruction, I think should be listen to the instruction from those wicked or schematic. Penalties are prepared for markers and beating for the backs of fools. So this is saying that live a life seriously, do not be a marker, and also be wise, do not be a fool. So this is about the chapter 19, and I'm going to stop here. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you can read and interpret in your own way. I'll see you next time.